Okay, back we are. Topic 35, commodity forwards and futures. Okay, explain the key difference between commodities and financial assets. Okay, I'm not going to spend too much time over there. And guys, by now we know, up until now, we've been really mainly dealing with, particularly in the last section, topic 34, with financial futures, equities, bonds, foreign exchange, indexes, all that kind of good stuff. Now moving across from that to the physical commodities, which we call commodity assets or commodity futures. What changes now? It's very easy to store an index. It's very easy to store a share. It's not so easy to store a bar of gold. Am I right? Or a sheep. Or some corn, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Yeah, or what's the big pink one? The pig. Okay. And I once said my twins were enamored with pigs at one point. And I just couldn't get it out of them. And they were desperate to get a pig. We've got this lovely big garden as well, and they wanted a pig. I said, fine. I took them, I found a guy that sells pigs. He was ready to sell his pig. But what I didn't tell my twins, that it wasn't a teacup pig, which is the little baby ones, but it was a pot belly, which was one of those. Okay. They were about 6 or 7 at the time, 2 little boys. And I took him to this guy's place, so he had a little bit of a farm. And as we got there, the guy was walking the pig. And the pig came close to the car. We got out the car. The pig came close to the car and made this, like, you know what, like the noise a pig makes, like these two, my twins jumped back in the car so fast, the fright of their lives, and they said they want to go home. I said, well, we had to buy a pig. I said, well, I've cleaned out the whole back seat. We're going to put the pig there with you guys. They said, just drive, Dad. Okay, so we've got rid of livestock commodities. Okay, sometimes it's easy, guys. If a kid wants it too much, just play along maybe. Okay, we didn't end up getting the pig, of course. Okay, guys, but you can see some of the differences over here, guys. We've got storage costs. What do you think storage costs will do to the cost of a contract? Increase, of course. It's an additional cost, isn't it? We come to this next thing, guys. Okay. Which is called, we look at, there's a thing called a lease rate. Okay, some underlying assets can generate cash flows during the life of the contract, and of course these flows need to be deducted from the value of the futures contract. Because remember, a lease rate, that they'll be earning something on it. Am I right? The minute something's going to be earned on it, that must come off, because then you can say, well, listen, Mr. Owner of that asset, you earned something on it. You earned a little rate on it while this year contract was. Please take that off the value of the cost of the futures contract. You happy with that? So lease rates, anytime there's something that's where the other party gets a benefit or there's some kind of a gain, that must be deducted then from the cost of the storage costs. Added gains must be deducted. Just like with dividends, we saw the same concept will apply. What's a convenience yield? This is a very important one, guys. Some assets generate non-monetary benefits. Okay, called a convenience yield. And I want to skip that. I've given you one example over there. But the one example that I do want to focus on a little bit more is, let's say, for example, platinum. Let's say, for example, I said to you guys, listen, and you say to me, listen, we're in this platinum deal together. Wouldn't it be nice for you? How much convenience, what extra benefit would you get if I say to you, you can keep the platinum in your lounge? I'm thinking, well, what did I do? I see it every day. I get it. What benefit? No benefit to me at all. I tell you, I don't want it in my lounge. In fact, it's more of a threat to me, because the thief will see I keep platinum in the lounge, and he'll come and take the platinum. That very same platinum. What benefit do you think it would be to a car manufacturer or a jeweler to have spare platinum lying about? There's a definite benefit, because they use it as part of their production process. You do know there's a lot of platinum in cars. Am I right? Okay, yeah. Maybe that's why they keep stealing them. Okay, there's something in it, of course. Okay, so there's platinum in cars. There's obviously platinum in jewelry, etc., etc. So for them to have a little bit of extra platinum lying about as spare stock in case they need it, we call that a convenience yield. That's a benefit to the one party. And again, that gets adjusted for as we go forward. Okay, but what you're going to find that there are two prices then for certain assets that, like platinum. Why? With the convenience yield in for platinum producers, car producers, users of platinum, and wine for people that don't. To me, there's no benefit to have extra gold sitting around my house. I wouldn't know what to do with it. Okay, it's just, as I say, it's probably just a theft risk. Okay, you guys comfortable with it? And we'll look at all of those as we go forward. Okay, guys, we move down a little bit, and I'm not spending much time over here. We look at all different kinds of commodities. We look at precious metals, things like gold. Okay, gold, silver, platinum. Okay, some of the characteristics of gold and these types of things, they can be stored for long periods of time. Gold doesn't go off. Okay, etc., etc. Okay, grains and corn, we look at those guys, include corn, soy, wheat, rice, okay, etc., etc. Okay, it got so bad. I saw an article the other day, guys, in relation to grains and things like that, and what we call geopolitical risk, depending on where the stuff is coming from, guys. But they're offering to buy back money now in China. Any money that might have come into contact with this virus is now being destroyed. And it makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, what do you always tell your kids? Don't put money, or you were told as a kid, don't put money in your mouth. Well, why not? Not that it doesn't taste good, but it's got everyone's dirty hands on them. Hands are one of the greatest sources of infection. They're looking to destroy all that money now in China. Not that their debt situation can do that, but hey. Okay. Electricity, I'm not spending too much time over there. It's too sensitive a point for South Africans. Electricity. No water, no power, no air. Okay. I told my wife, I said, I'm only coming back. She said, what time does class finish tonight? I said, any time after 8:30. She said, what are you talking about? Don't you go till 10? I said, after 8:30. She said, why? I said, because that's when the load shedding ends at my house. I'm not getting home until that's done. We've long gone past that, of course, but hey. Okay. And guys, don't spend a batch of time. I put them all in here. I put in a little bit too much. I just thought I'd give you a nicer picture of it. But we look at all the different kinds of oil, crude oil. Okay, and I mean, I've really gone to a little bit too much to town. Don't spend time on this. Have a quick peek. I've even told you that it's created by dead organisms that are trapped in rock formations. Not necessary. If that comes up as a question, I'm prepared to take full responsibility for you losing that mark. I don't know what it'll help, but I'll own that one. Okay. I don't think this is coming up in any meaningful way. Okay. Just a little bit over there. Okay. One thing that you might want to focus on a little bit, like with oil or things like that, guys, of course, is that as economic activity and expansion increases, generally the demand for oil increases as well, doesn't it? Okay, they go hand in hand. Okay, good. Okay, I'm not going to spend time on the various oils. Weather derivatives, guys, this is a new one that was added in for 2020. Okay, are they likely to ask it? It will be a very odd one to ask, but I do think it's quite likely that it might come up because it's brand new and it's formula driven. It's an easy one to ask. So I would not. I would leave this out at your peril. So we're going to do it. Let's go. Derivative contracts are available on the weather. Okay. Now, who would want to take out a weather derivative, guys? A farmer, speculators for sure. Okay. Anyone that's got a hole in their roof, am I right? And the rain's coming in and doing damage, what would you do? You might take out a weather derivative in case it rains. You gain, it's insurance, isn't it? But can you also see a little bit how insurance and derivatives work a little bit hand in hand? Okay, good. Let's go. The most common contracts are those with payoffs that are contingent upon the temperature. If it gets too hot or too cold, that could destroy crops, that could destroy whatever else. These derivatives are typically used by energy companies as hedges for their output. Okay. Two key variables that drive weather derivatives are heating degree days and cooling degree days. Okay, it does get a little bit crazy and technical. The HDD is equal to a max of 0.65 minus A. Okay, and A is the average of the highest and lowest temperatures given a specific period. Okay. Of course, guys, this is American, so A is measured in degrees Fahrenheit, not degrees Celsius, as we know. Guys, as I said, is it that practical? No, but is it examinable? Yes. So I would just, let's have a quick look at an example over here. Assuming the minimum temperature during the day was 50 degrees Fahrenheit, maximum was 90, A will be the average. So what would you do? You'd take the high, 90, the low, 50, average that, you get to 70. And then what you do is you just run your two calcs. HCD is a max of 0, 65 minus 70, so you would use 0. And on the other side, that's 70 minus 65, and you'd use, for CDD cooling days, you would use a number of 5. That's really just the maths behind it, guys. You have a quick peek at that and make sure that you can answer the question, if it does come. Do we? Oh no, not. I was surprised that I thought you said we do have one. I thought that's a bit odd. I don't think so. It's very exotic. This is not. And generally speaking, Shana, we can take out insurance contracts if on weather-dependent events. You know what I mean? If you are that sensitive to weather, your particular industry or whatever, take out an insurance contract. They are obviously to protect. Yeah. A little bit in terms of the workings, because it's got a max function, doesn't it? So yeah, a little bit. Okay, let's go. Okay, now, nice and simple. Sure, you're back to what you love and find easy. Okay, have you seen this before? FOT, blah, blah, blah. Okay, how would I calculate it, guys? Nice and simple. SO, spot price. What's my FOT is equal to? So SO is my spot price. Don't forget my E, my exponent, and RT, which is continuously compounded rate of return, and T is the time period. You've seen this once. Of course, guys, it doesn't change because you were in commodities, does it? Commodities has a few quirks like storage, not dividends. You can't get a dividend on a bar of gold, not that I'm aware of. Okay, and you can't get a convenience yield on the financial futures. We see the differences, but that's all. The formulas are the same. Happy. Now, what happens, guys, when I include storage costs? Storage costs must be added, am I right? Look at this huge addition. It's very fancy. SO, you happy? E, exponent. And now it's R, continuously compounded risk-free rate, plus storage costs. The lambda. Okay, to the T. We just denote storage costs by using the lambda. Okay, that's all. Learn to love the lambda, guys, because he's coming back in book 2. Remember lambda? It starts with a P, those that remember it. What kind of a distribution uses the lambda? It starts with a P, I can't even pronounce it. Poison, those that pronounce it better, with a bit more of a French flair. It's poise, whatever, I don't know how else you say. Swan, whatever, I don't know. Okay, but that's where your lambda will come again. Okay, but here, guys, it's just used to denote storage costs. There's nothing fancy about it, as it's in a function of source. Okay, you happy with that? Okay, nothing more than that. That's it. So, and what do you think I would do, guys, when there was convenience yield or a lease rate or anything like that? I'd minus it. So this is your key expression over here, guys. We play with that one a lot, don't we? We add storage, we subtract convenience, we add risk-free rate. That's all. Put in what they give you in the question. Nothing more than that. No, not always. Not always. Generally. Sometimes they say to you the storage costs are this. Per day, per week, per month. And then if it's, sometimes I'll say give it to you per month, and they say it's a 9-month contract. You've got to times it by 9 to get to the 9-month. You've got to be very specific in your reading. That makes sense. They give you exactly what. Okay. If they do, yes. But often they give you a storage rate per month, and your contract's a 9-month contract. Then you've got to take that storage cost per month, times it by 9 to get to the real cost, the cost for the contract period. You can, or you can leave it as it is. Depends. You can add it on. I'll try to see if we get an example of that. But it's fairly straightforward. But they do try and sometimes give it as a percent, sometimes as a. Okay. And guys, even in commodities, I deal with cash and carry and reverse cash and carry. And if you think I'm doing these examples that I just did with you half an hour again and a normal pricing of forward and futures contracts, you would be mistaken, because I'm not. And most people will throw something at me because I've done them already one time, and I'll be wasting all of your time. I'm very happy to revise something a week later, but an hour later, I'm not. And you've just seen it, am I right? Nothing different. All you got to remember, guys, and what's interesting, guys, is you've seen it, it's easy, you can do it. In an exam, they don't ask it exactly. You've got to remember that when they say cash and carry, and this is how I want you to learn it, cash and carry, the forward price is too high. You happy? Reverse cash and carry, forward price is too low. You must note that well. Okay. Start to walk around your office, cash and carry, reverse cash and carry. And if people think that you're weird, that's okay. I used to care when I was much younger. Now I'm just, guys, this is all about you now. Okay, I had one girl that's doing one of the CFA levels, I can't say more than that, and her employee is not that happy about it because it's not necessary. It was not in her employer. Sorry, but employees also have rights. Okay, but her employer, a big multinational, is not happy about it. So I said, well, how do you manage? She said, like, she skipped out of work now to come to class. So I said, why don't you tell them? She said, no, it's not their business. They won't be happy about it. They're not giving their blessing. So she just keeps quiet. You know, and she's right. It's about her. She wants the designation. It's about her own growth. If your employer's not happy about it, well, you can either leave your employer, not tell them, or do your stuff. You get one chance, guys. This is your life. Don't, if your employer's not happy, tell him whatever you want to tell him, or her. Okay. Employers can also be hers. Okay. We hope. We want a bit of diversity. Let's go, guys. A lease rate. What's a lease rate? That's an amount that's charged by the commodity owner to the commodity borrower. So you borrow a commodity, we charge you a bit of a lease. Sounds like a normal lease. What's that? Rent. Fantastic. It's a lovely word. Take it off, am I right? Because he's getting some money up front, isn't he? You're earning something on it, a dividend, a lease rate. Take it off. I'm not paying for that. I'll pay for my stuff, storage and things like that. I'm not paying for leases. I'm not paying for dividends. That's all. Simple as that. Okay. I hope I'm not making it seem too easy, because the questions when they come, they like to twist a little bit, but it is what it is. I can't make it worse than. Let's have a look over here, and Shane, this maybe will help you a little bit. Look over here. Assume that the current spot rate per ounce of silver is 14.25. That's SO. You guys happy? That's the spot rate. The annual lease rate is 6. Risk-free rate is 10. Okay, this is a stock standard percent one. Sorry, I thought it would be a little bit. I thought it was slightly different. No, it's not. Okay. Time to maturity is 6 months. You guys comfortable with stock standard question? So what do? I go 14.25. You happy? That's my spot. To the E, and I go the risk-free rate of 10 minus the risk-free rate of minus the lease rate of 6, and it's 6 months. So I times it by 1.5 or T. You guys comfortable? But how is FRM going to ask you this, guys? This is too easy for people of your caliber. I don't want to be rude. I'll give this to the CFA guys. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. Okay. But I make jokes about you guys when I'm with them, so it evens out. I've got to be honest. Okay. Yeah, you always get honesty from me. Okay. How are they going to ask you this, guys? What are they going to say to you? They're going to give you a forward contract and say to you, what are you going to do? So step number 1 is you're going to have to value what would you call this? This we're going to call, guys, this is called the no arbitrage price, or the real price. Am I right? Why is it called the real price? Because you've just worked it out, haven't you? With all the tools that we know that we need to work out with. So it's called the no arbitrage price. The no arbitrage price, once you do all that, guys, is equal to 14.54. Am I right? They're going to say to you, there's a contract in the market for 14.80. What's your strategy? You happy with that? So step number 1, they're going to make you calculate what the real price is. What's the real price? 1454, you need to have all your tools to do that. You happy to do that? Then I'm going to say to you, there's a contract in the market for 1480. What's your strategy? Well, 1480, the forward price is too high, cash and carry, and away you go. You happy with that? Do you see how they're going to ask that? Everything, guys, you must be ready in FRM for very much two-stage processes, not just what's the value. That you will get a couple of just what's the values, but generally be ready for things like two-stage process. What's the value, and then what's your strategy? And of course, guys, if you can't work out the 1454, you don't have much of a strategy. You happy with that? But we know that. I had a guy come into my office today, guys, doing Kaya. They're writing in, what did he tell me, 19 days. Obviously, he's worked it out quite accurately, but nervous. And he said he just feels so completely underprepared. So I asked him, I said, yeah, most people do coming in to write exams. It's a normal feeling. He said, no, he underestimated the designation. I said, you and everybody else. And that's why I'm being a little bit tougher up front, guys. Don't be that one that comes in May, end of April, and says, oh, I wish I would have put more time in Feb or March. You've got time now. I don't know if you've got time now. No one's got time. No one's got time. That would be, but use the time now that you do have, because you don't want to be, you don't want to be that. You'll be nervous in May. I know everyone's nervous in May, but use your time well, guys. Don't. This is not a 1 month slog. This is a 4 month slog, 5 month slog. Consistency. It's what do they call it? It's the grind. Okay. You'll have friends again, I promise. Not like now, but June, July. Tell you buy friends. When you get your airflow, you buy friends, guys. Okay. Yeah. Not exactly, of course. And I always tell guys, please, even when you get lots of money, which I bless you all with, okay, treat everyone still with respect. Okay. My one son told me, he said, Daddy, is he going to be a billionaire? And then he was waiting. He was waiting for me to say, oh, please, my dear son, when you get all this money, please look after Dad and, give me some of it. And he wasn't going to get any of that from me. I said, when you earn your billions, which I have no doubt you will, he's quite a schemer, this child of mine. And I said, all I ask you to do is remember those less fortunate. Okay, when you've got tons of money, you don't need that much money, guys, seriously. I see some people with 4, 5, what do you do with so many houses or cars? I don't know. I tell my kids, you just need one car. Then they're negotiating. They want 2 or 3 cars. One for the outdoor car, the indoor car, I don't know what. So guys, the truth is I always tell, buy what you want, but look after others as well. There's no need for. Okay, so that's my message. 2 cents worth. When you all become fabulously wealthy, and Mopa says, first buy your friends a present first. That's all you buy, and then help everybody else. Let's go. Yeah. And guys, this is your question. I'm not doing this again, of course not. You know that I'm not doing this with you again. But all I've done over here, guys, is I've gone back to cash and carry and reverse cash and carry, specifically related to commodities, guys. Okay. You happy with that? Just made the question a little bit more practical, given you exact workings. What's your strategy for arbitrage, guys? Am I boring you yet? Buy low, sell high. Buy cheap, sell expensive. It's never going to change. Okay, it works nicely. We now have a new concept. Sure, eventually you are waiting for something new. Contango and backwardation. Okay. And all that they mean, guys, contango, in fact, I like to work the other way around. I like to work with backwardation. Now look over here, quick. What have we taught you thus far? I hope we've taught you this thus far. That what, generally speaking, what's the trend of the market? Forward prices is equal to spot. You happy? Forward valued, am I right? Future value. Generally speaking, the futures price should be greater than the spot price. Am I right? Generally. Happy with that? I'm going to confuse you for a second, but it's not really confuse you because you guys are so smart. When would you tell me that the forward price is equal to S what? ST. Fantastic. And that's what we call, that is the basis. And the basis is the difference between the two, which converges as we get to. Gee, I'm impressed. Okay, good. All I'm smiling now is I'm smiling at the size of my part 2 class. Okay. That's you guys are my part 2 class. Don't let me down. No pressure, of course. Okay. You guys will be great. Okay, I can see this is a top class. But you guys comfortable with that? That would be normal, wouldn't it? And that's how I try and remember it. Backwardation means it's backwards. In other words, what? The spot price is great. And when would that be? Think. Now, if I take you to the formula, and this is why I harped on it a little bit before. What did I tell you? SO, you happy? E, and let's just work on 2. Let's work on, guys, something times T. You happy with that? That's your stock standard formula. Now, there's your risk-free rate. Am I right? Let's take off either dividends, not so much dividend, but I'm going to take off, okay, my convenience yield. I think they call it a Y. I'm not sure. We'll see it when we get there. You happy with that? Okay. What happens, guys, if your risk-free rate is 5%? You happy? And your convenience yield is 7%. Now, what do you get in your brackets? You get a minus. The minute you get a minus, what does that do to your SO? It almost presents a bit like a present value, doesn't it? Reduces the value. So now what are you going to get? You're going to get your future value being less than the spot price. You happy with that? When what happens? When my deductions like lease rate, convenience yield are greater than my risk-free. You happy with that? And that's backwardation. Contango, I don't know how you're going to remember that one, but if you remember backwardation, you'll get contango, and that means that it goes the normal way. In other words, and how would it be normal? What's normal? When your risk-free rates plus your storage costs, if they are greater than, fantastic. You happy with that, guys? Okay, that's it. Okay, good. Okay. Now we just do a little bit of work on these, but now it's going to bore you to tears because we've done it all. Okay, I like bored students. Look over here, but you've seen this all, haven't you? Look at this formula. What does this formula tell you, guys? FOT is equal to spot price, happy, exponent, R plus lambda. Lambda is storage cost. You happy why I'm adding the storage costs to the T? Have you seen that once? Have you seen it a million times? I'm not spending time on that. Okay, good. This is for Shana specifically, top of page 11. Look over here. There's a bit of a formula there. I'm not going to look at the formula. I want to look at an example. Everybody with me? Okay, let's have a look. Assume that the current spot price per ounce of silver is $14.25. You happy with that? The monthly cost, you see, look what I've got here. I've got the monthly cost of actual storage is 15 cents. You happy with that? Not percent, not anything, but 15 cents. So what? Per month. You happy? I'm changing how I normally do it. The risk-free rate per month is 1%, and it's a 2-month contract. Have I got my details over here? Spot price is $14.25. You happy with that? Yeah. Monthly storage cost is 15 cents. And the effective monthly risk-free rate is 1%. Look what you look. It's a little bit of an interesting calc. Let's follow through with it. And they say number 1 is calculate the future value of the storage cost. Because remember, there's 2 ways to do it. The first way would be SO, E, you happy? R plus storage P. And what is all of that, by the way? Let's take out the E. What have I done? If I take the R out for a second, E storage T gives me is equal to what? Let's say if I want to put it on as a standalone. E storage T. What is that? Future value of the storage cost. You happy with that? That's all. You happy with that? Which is nice to do if they give you the storage cost as a percent. What if they don't? They give it to you as a whole number. What I have to do, I've got to get to its future value. Nothing's changed. I'm still looking for future value. FOT is equal to future value. Does that make sense, guys? FOT equals future value. Okay, good. Okay. Let's price the forward contract. Look over here. Step number 1. And can you see, guys, while my first step is to compute what, guys? The future value of storage costs. What is the future value of storage costs? Well, it's 15 cents in month 1. You happy?
Yeah.
It's 15 cents in month 2, but there's a 1% storage, there's a 1% interest rate per month, isn't there? So I go 15 cents plus 15 cents, but the second 15 cents I'm charging you interest for. It's the next month already. There you're getting interest costs of 1 plus 0.01, because there's 1% interest per month, isn't it? I'm going to charge you a bit of interest. If it was per annum, you would divide that interest rate by 12, blah, blah, blah. You happy? Okay. And I get you a future value of storage of not 30 cents, which you might assume and will be waiting for you in the question answer, but 30 and a little bit more. Am I right? Why is the little bit more there? Because of the interest on month 2. You happy? Very important. The minute you got a future value calc, you better take into account interest. Am I right? Don't forget the interest. Okay. You see, the first month you wouldn't have interest yet because it's only the first month. There might be an argument for that, but generally interest. Remember, the interest is really charged on what? The first month's storage. You happy with that? Because the first month there's a storage cost, isn't there? Did you pay it? No. I'm charging you interest for it. The second month is free. So you see what I'm saying? It's like rent. If I say to you, you owe me rent for 2 months. The first month, when do I expect the rent? End of the month. But you don't pay it. So what do? I charge you interest on what? By the time we get to, if you look over here, look on a bit of a time. Oops, it's a horrible one. Okay. This time period 0, 1, and 2. Am I right? So your rent of $100 was due here. You happy? You don't pay it. What I say to you? I'm charging you interest. So when we get to this point over here, time period 2, I say to you, do me a favor, give me rent for month 2, plus give me rent for month 1 with a bit of interest because you didn't pay it yet. You happy with that? You happy why I charge the 1%? Okay, good. And then what do I do after that? Blah, blah, blah. You've seen this a zillion times. Then I can go and do, I've got the future value of the storage, haven't I? Which is 30 odd cents. Am I right? Then I go and do a normal future value calc on the rest. You happy with that? Everybody happy why I take 14.25? That's the spot price. You happy? Everybody happy why I take 12%? 1% per month, 12 months. Okay. Why 0.167 as my T? 2 over 12. 2 months, 12. You happy with that? Nothing too fancy. And then what have I got with that calc? I got the future value of the one component. You happy? What's the second component? Future value of the storage cost. I've done that one already. I add them together. Give me a total. Shane, are you happy? You see how we do it when we don't have percentages. And guys, don't be scared to do a mix and match like we've done here. Half I've done with my normal percentages, the risk-free rate. Another half I've done with the numbers that I had. That makes sense. And what's the moral of the story here, guys? You need to do quite a few of these. Practice, and then do it some more. Okay. What do you think is going to change, guys, pricing futures contracts when there's a convenience yield? Look at this one. Tell me if you like this. Look at FOT. Look at FOT over here. FOT is equal to spot price, exponent, R plus lambda, which is rate, interest rate plus storage minus convenience yield. Okay. Okay. And if you think I'm doing the whole long example, the only thing I do want to show you on top of page 12 over here, guys, look over, and this is what we spoke about before. It is quite important because they can really turn you over a little bit with this one. Look at this thing. For the average investor that does not earn a convenience yield, why not? You don't want gold sitting around your dining room. Okay. Maybe some people get a special feeling when they wake up and they see the gold every day, but eventually it gets in the way. Am I right? Okay. Good. But it's to their own. Okay, that's what they say, by the way, for alternative investments, that one of the the rate of return on artwork is very, very low. Generally speaking, you might get some fancy works that shoot the lights out, but generally and I say part of the return is the pleasure that you get. You see a Picasso on your wall. Okay. If so, if that's your vibe, then great. If not, okay, I'm a minimalist. Okay, so each person to them, but they say that's also part of the return that you get, is that good. You wake up in the morning and you're feeling a little bit groggy, and there's a Picasso on your wall, or a gold bar on your dining room table. Okay. And you feel good, don't you? Okay. Feels nice to have a Picasso on the wall. Okay. But remember, guys, what we look at over here, guys, is two upper bounds and lower bounds. Am I right? Because you've got two bounds now. When there's a convenience yield applicable to somebody, so let's have a look here. So here's your convenience yield. You happy? To the person that it's not applicable to, then what would I say? I wouldn't minus the C, am I right? If I'm not minusing C, think. My futures price is higher or lower? Higher. So if I don't get a convenience yield, then the price will be the upper bound, won't it? It'll be higher. If I do get a convenience yield, you happy? I minus C from my calc, don't I? My futures price is lower. That would be called the lower bound. There's your 2 over here. There's your upper bound, and there is your lower bound calc. You happy with that? So just be careful. Sometimes in a question, they could say, please give me the upper and lower bounds on a commodities price. And what do you know they're talking about? The difference is convenience yield. Some do get it and some don't. You happy with that? Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. We look over here, guys, and don't spend a lot of time on this one. It's an interesting one, but I don't think overly. Okay. A synthetic commodity price can be created with a combination of, and guys, don't spend too much time on this. They're going quite deep into the theory behind this. Okay. And they go through, take this minus that. So sometimes they do this in FRM. Unlikely to come up as they try to go through the whole derivation of, you take this less that and you divide it by the other side, etc., etc. Okay. And all that you come out with is, look on the bottom. I'm not going to spend time on this. What does it look like to you guys? Have you seen that before somewhere? It's a bit of derivation. Don't spend time on it. Okay, I did it with my CFA level 3 class the other night, on Monday night, and they say, but all these equations, and I said, equations don't mean anything. Don't think too deeply, because remember, for equations, you all know maths, am I right? If you do it to the one side, just make sure. You do it to the other side, make sure you're consistent, and then come out with what we need at the end. Don't spend too much time. And no one's, unless it's a specific exam, they're going to be testing you on how to derive formulas. This is not it. I would not spend too much time on me. Okay. Let's go look over here. We now look at this thing. We've seen. Are you guys comfortable on some level with Contango and backwardation? I now introduce you to normal Contango and normal backwardation. It's a new concept. It's not just Contango or backwardation. This is something different. Okay. Let's have a look over here. Okay. Start off. This is important, by the way. Okay. And unfortunately, it's at 9:30 at night, I know, but one thing I can tell you as well, okay, at round about, okay, 11 o'clock a.m. for you guys, when you've been writing for 3 hours already, you started at 8 a.m. to write, and now it's 11 a.m. on a Saturday morning, you're also tired. So it's good, a little bit of good practice. I can tell you, writing for 4 hours is grueling. I had one guy that wrote with me, he wrote both on one day. And I spoke to him a little while after. He said he didn't even see much of paper 2. His brain, he said he got through the first hour of paper 2. That means he's writing for 5 hours already. 8 till 12 and 2 till 6 p.m. He said his brain was completely shot. So I don't mind keeping you a bit later. I won't go after 10, of course, but good to work under a little bit of tiredness. Futures prices, and look at these guys. Futures prices, we know what those are. Look what I've introduced, and expected spot prices. This is your whole thing between, when I look at normal backwardation and normal Contango, it's expected spot prices. Let's go. Easy stuff. Okay. The spot price is equal to, okay, normal spot price is the present value of the spot price at time t. You happy? Just a present value calc. Of course, adjust for costs and benefits. Yes, yes, yes. Happy with that. Nothing too crazy over there. The expected spot price is what? It's looking forward, isn't it? The present value of the expected at when? Big T. So it's expected at what? Expected spot price is equal to E. Expected what? S at the end. Okay. 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 Let's go. When we apply this logic of expected spot prices to future prices, tells us that what? That the future price, okay, equals the expected future spot price less any. It should, shouldn't it? Okay. That FOT, your futures price, should equal to your expected spot price, shouldn't it? We know that it should converge. It should equal to should. Okay. Based on this, we can see that the futures price does not equal, okay, the expectation of the future spot price. Okay. And don't worry too much about unbiased predictor or not. Should not say protector. Should say predictor. Protector. I'm not sure what it's got to do with anything. Okay. Change that protector to predictor. Okay, but what I really want you guys to know is as follows. Let's move down. Futures prices are lower than the expected spot price. Look at this, guys. What do you think about this one? And this is, in fact, let's go one down to Contango. That the futures prices, okay, are higher than the expected spot price. Okay. And that's normal. That's Contango, and it's normal Contango. It's normal because I'm dealing with what? Expected spot prices. That's how now I'm in the normal section. Okay. Futures prices that are lower than expected spot prices called normal backwardation. Exactly the same way, but just instead of working with spot prices, I'm working with expected future or expected spot prices, okay, etc., etc. Okay. We generally, guys, very important word, favor the belief that futures prices are biased predictors of future spot prices, okay, because there's a transfer of the risk premium from the holders of the asset to the buyers of the futures contract. Don't overly think that. Just it's a bit of a difference in the risk between the two. So it's not exactly we call it a biased predictor. And you can't say that futures prices exactly predict it. It predicts biasly. Okay. And I'm not doing the next section with you. That's just normal backwardation and norm. So not that's exactly the wrong word to use. Okay, that's backwardation and Contango. I've got it. My way I said it was exactly wrong. Okay, and if we just have to stop over here, and let's just do a quick summary of these two. So let's have a look over here. When I talk about Contango, what's Contango? Contango equals when the forward price is greater than the spot price. What spot price? SO. Happy. Normal, I'll just call it an N because I ran out of space. Normal Contango is the futures price is greater than the expected spot price. See what I've changed? Not SO, but expected. I move to my other definitions. I can't even spell it. Not at this time of night. Sure. Futures price is less than SO. You happy? Normal, and I'm not writing this out again. Okay, normal backwardation. What happens over here, guys? That the forward price is less than the. You guys comfortable? Okay, I won't take up too much more of your time. I see we are at the end of this particular reading, but we will do one question. You get the question right, we can all go home. Otherwise, I'm finding more questions. I'm starting to feel good. I want to get a second wind about this time, and then I hope you're feeling the same strength. And okay, let's go. And guys, you know by now, FRM questions start with a story. Let's read this. Let's give them their due. A risk analyst at a commodities trading firm is examining the supply and demand conditions for various commodities, is concerned about the volatility of the forward prices of silver in the medium term, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And now you get to what you need. And guys, listen to me, always FRM question is a lot of blah. You've got to be able to just, you'll see when we get to book 2, it's called the white noise, just get rid of it. Okay. Currently, silver is trading at spot of 20.35 per troy ounce. Now, that's what I need, don't I? Are you guys comfortable for me to say that SO, spot price, is equal to 20.35? Then it says to me, 6-month forward is 20.50. So I'm going to go FOT. And just that I remember it, guys, I'm going to go FOT 6 months. You happy? You can always denote it with a 6 or 6 months like that is 20.50. Okay. Assuming that after 6 months, this is now this is vital, obviously, guys. The lease rate rises above the continuously compounded interest rate. What's happening now? So my lease rate, which is like an income type of a, now is higher than my interest rate. And what would you tell me that what's that called? That's called backwardation. Am I right? And what's backwardation? Explain backwardation to me. That the forward price is less than the spot. Now, if I ask you to draw me a forward curve with, it's like any other curve, guys, prices being there, you happy? On the vertical axis, on the horizontal axis, I've got time. You happy? So let's start off my price being wherever you want it to be. Couldn't care. Make it over there. Your curve is doing up or down. Down is backwardation. Your curve goes down. Happy? And now that you've had a look at that, guys, you're looking for a downward sloping curve. So you would pick A. Am I right? Happy with that? Okay. A, and your answer would be right. B, upward sloping. That would be Contango. Curve will be flat. When will that be? When the two rates are exactly the same. You happy with that? When my continuously compound rate of return is equal to my lease rate, etc. And the forward curve will be humped. And how will that be? How can they ever give you a humped curve when they give you more periods? Am I right? And the curve looks a little bit like that. Am I right? Like a camel's hump, but not for tonight. Okay. Now, you happy with that? Okay. And you all got it right. Fantastic. But let me show you how the FRM presents their solutions. This is their stuff, not my stuff. Look how they present it. The forward price is computed as that. As the commodity lease rate is computed as that, so the forward price can alternatively be expressed in terms of the lease rate. Guys, you're confused before you move out of the starting blocks. And I'm not knocking FRM. They're fantastic. ARP is even better. They're the same thing, I think. Fantastic. Their stuff is good. But don't be awed by this. When you've got your answer, like you all have, and you've worked it out very simply by saying what? That the lease rate is greater than the risk-free rate. Backwardation, you're good to go. We know the curve is downward sloping. All of this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not trying to knock them. It's not my intention at all. If I was trying to knock them, I wouldn't serve their product, would I? Okay, but what I'm trying to say to you is, for us normal people, you read the stuff and it says to you, oh, I don't know, it's the answer. But we know the answer, don't we? We've got to dumb things down just a little bit. And remember that the way you got to the answer and the actual answer is the same thing. You can get to it with deriving 10 formulas going from here to there. That's not where I want you guys to be. You guys happy with that? Simple, simple, simple. Don't be overly awed. FRM has got that ability to make us feel a bit small. You try and read anything, no, I don't know. There's nothing that Oak taught me in class. He never said a word about these funny things. But guys, you know it. You've got to just think a little bit out of the box and just think a bit creatively. You all are going to be great. Guys, that brings us to the end of tonight's session. We've done forwards, futures, and forwards. Upwards, backwards, all commodities, financial, we've done it all. Guys, there might be a bit of a, there was a bit of a clash with classes next week, Tuesday. Please just bear with me. I will definitely next week, Thursday's class is definitely on. I'm just going to see, hopefully they manage to resolve my conflict in scheduling for Tuesday. If not, might need to reschedule. I just want to give you a bit of a heads up. Keep it as it is for now, of course. If not, I will be in contact with you guys. And then obviously right in the back end, just my last little bit of admin is we may need one more session for FMP, but we'll keep in contact as we go forward. Guys, you've been outstanding. Have a marvelous evening. I pray for your electricity, your air cons, everything, all other good things, and please drive safe.